Mr. Chauhan, today as we speak, there are various protests going on across the country, in Mumbai, in Delhi, in Kolkata, in Bangalore, against your appointment. And very senior eminent people like Saeed Mirza, filmmaker, you have Kiran Rao, all of them are joining these protests. Rasul Pukuti has spoken against your appointment. They are saying this is not against you personally, but somebody of national eminence has got to be there to really respect that position. This has gone beyond just the students now, sir.
No, you have said it, because this is the prerogative of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. They have seen my credentials, they have seen my working, they have seen my efficiency, they have seen my capabilities, and on certain issues, they have decided to appoint me there. Now the protests are there. Now this is left between the protesters and the ministry. And ministry has already decided. Let the ministry take a call on it. I have already said, don't decide through my real life career. My real life is something different. I have worked in cinema and television. Maybe people are not satisfied the kind of cinema I have done. Everybody goes through a bad patch. Somebody goes in television. If you see, I have done best of the work. I have been a leading actor in television.
Yes, I don't want to be judgmental, but somebody like Anand Patwardhan, a senior filmmaker, noted filmmaker, he was saying that you have acted in semi-pornographic movies. Now, I don't want to make any judgment on that, because that is your prerogative, and you must have done that in certain circumstances.
No, but I'm sorry, you are using a wrong word. These are the adult films which has been passed by the Censor Board of India. All these films have taken an A certificate. There are so many films made in India who got A certificate. They are not soft porn movies. Sorry to say that. Somebody has to start a career from somewhere. I have started from that level, and I have reached in television today. I mean, I'm one of those few actors who have done so many serials with good roles.
Okay. So final question. We spoke about, we did a show with you about, 2 weeks ago when the protests had just begun. At that point of time, you had said that you will stick on to this. Tell me, sir, given the protests, given the fact they're not studying for the last 3 weeks, have you changed your mind? Is your conscience telling you that since there is so much of, opposition, I must really, not accept this job?
No, sir. I have been appointed none other than the Government of India. Any order from Government of India, I'll take it, sir.
I think if the students are protesting, I think they have a valid reason for it. I'm sure they do. Because I don't think this has happened earlier. I think those kids are not stupid enough, and I think when you study in an FTII, you're purely there because your love for cinema and you really want to be somebody in the world of cinema. I think one should appoint somebody whose credibility is way higher than the one that is appointed right now.
Politics has become so full of religion. Every institute also can't become like that. An institute needs to be, the head of an institute needs to have intent, and the intention has to be for the education of that institute and the people of that institute, and that has to be very clear. And dynamism in a place like that is really important. And I truly believe that religion is so personal. It's crept into everything now.
So do you think this appointment has been smacked with the religious politics of India?
I believe that, because I think everything is getting saffronized, whether it's education, whether it's institutes, whether it's everything.
So let's straight away dive into our debate, and let me start with you, Mr. Mirza. You have been in this position. What are your objections against this appointment?
No, I'm in solidarity with the students, because I think what they are trying to say is something very simple. Treat a place of that caliber with respect. And to me, I stand by that. A place, institution requires its own dignity, it requires care, it requires attention, and therefore, when the students say that they oppose this appointment, I stand by that. Because if you see the history of the FTI, by and large, most of the appointees have been people with a track record. They don't necessarily have to be politically similar. With a track record of some body of work, of some eminence. They could be writers, they could be painters, they could be playwrights, filmmakers. There's some eminence to them, then there's a track record.
And Mr. Chauhan doesn't have these...
Because Mr. Chauhan, with all due respect to him, look, I've got nothing against him.
Yeah, it's not personalized.
It's not personalized. And therefore, when you have a place of that caliber, I think a track record of a person and his or her body of work is critically important for a space like that to progress further.
Kiran, come in here, because talk to students and they say we don't feel really inspired by this appointment, Is that very critical in a place like the FTII, the premier institute of India?
Absolutely. I think a cultural institution for us is, the health of it is an indicator of the health of the nation. And if you treat cultural institutions as if they are not important, or they become easy places where the government decides what happens, you're going to get culture that is similar to that, which is just not of any quality. And I think students being inspired, students feeling that they're being led by someone with vision, is extremely important for an organization, for a place like FTII to have quality work come out of it.
And you are here in support of somebody better being appointed now?
Absolutely. I think I march for the future. I march for the future of our cultural institutions, of our democracy, of our plurality, our diversity, and also I march for excellence. I march for the fact that we demand that there are people, like Mr. Mirza said, people of some eminence, people of some excellence in positions where they are leading us.
So Mr. Chauhan should go now?
Ideally, someone with better qualifications should be appointed.
Mr. Krishna Sagar Rao, come in here. You have heard very eminent voices here, Mr. Saeed Mirza and also Mr. Kiran Rao, and very categorically they are saying that this is not, something to do with Mr. Gajendra Chauhan personally. It's about his credentials, it's about the institute and the legacy it really had. Is the government really, seriously considering that this was not really the brightest move really, and they, there's no problem in really accepting that and, making, a fresh appointment, Mr. Rao?
First of all, let me categorically state that at this point of time, Indian government nor MIB is not at all looking at an option of changing this position nor bringing in anybody new. Now, and a center of excellence, an institution of importance like FTII is going through such a issue since last 3 weeks, which is basically an avoidable conflict and a needless controversy, because it doesn't, there is no foundation for this kind of utter prejudice. And talking about eminence and talking about importance, talking about popularity, this is not a popularity contest. We are in a democracy and we have method, not the madness. We should adopt a method with which the Institute of Par Excellence has been continuing since 1960. So there is a process of selection of the chairman, and MIB has followed just the process. So to question the selection process, there has to be reaction. No, 1 second, allow me. I am only saying to obstruct that or to say that the appointment is not done well, there has to be a technical basis. You cannot talk about subjective popularity or subjective eminence, because eminence is subjective. I can show, I don't want to take the names and I don't want to take the names and disrespect them, but there have been chairmen for this institute who cannot be called eminent. I might not call them, but that doesn't make any difference.
Let me get a response here. The BJP spokesperson, Mr. Rao, says that, there's a method which has to be followed. You just can't be, follow a method of madness, really. And it has to be a basis of your objection. If this is the method has been followed for so many years, then you just simply can't, change the government's decision.
What method does he recommend we follow to protest the fact that we believe that someone with better credentials should be in the position that this institution requires? We will adopt those methods of protest.
Mr. Mirza, you are here. I mean, he's saying that in the past too, there have been so many occasions and times when, FTII chairmen have not really been as eminent as, say, you or, Mr. Girish Karnad. Is that true?
Not quite true. It's not quite true. By and large, there have been people of incredible eminence, not just filmmakers, there have been writers, there have been playwrights, there have been poets, theatre artists, and they've been there. So, but I'm not even suggesting a filmmaker. I'm suggesting people with a track record in the realm of culture and education through culture. They have a track record. And the FTII history is full of that.
Okay, people with track record, and that's something which, seems unanimous here at least. But the second issue which really comes up also is the communalization of these posts, because there's a political angle to it. That's what many are seeing, be it the child and the Child Film Society, or be it the censor board. All these posts have, Mr. Rao, either BJP, people who are associated with the BJP, who are fond of the BJP, or who are part of the BJP itself, and that is something which many are opposing. Do you think that's become a huge issue? Because the previous government did it, so you have to do it now. That's been the same.
साफ सी बात है कि अगर FTII में टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट भी है, टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट है, उसकी बिल्डिंग अलग से, कैंपस है उसका। टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट में एक्टिंग का अगर कोई हेड चाहिए होता, और अगर इनको फिक्स, टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट भी एक्टिंग, टेक्निकल नहीं, टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट में अगर कोई एक्टिंग का हेड चाहिए होता और अगर इनको अपॉइंट किया जाता तो हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं थी। टेलीविजन डिपार्टमेंट में भी एक्टिंग का, टेक्निकल नहीं, ये पूरा का पूरा लंबा चौड़ा कोर्स है, इतना एमिनेंट। अगर ये एक भी सिनेमा की प्रॉब्लम को लेकर उनके पास गए, डज ही हैव एन आंसर? ही डजंट हैव एन आंसर। तो इसलिए जो है आपके इसको जबरदस्ती पॉलिटिसाइज मत कीजिए, क्योंकि ये इत्तेफाक से बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट है, इत्तेफाक से संघ परिवार है, इत्तेफाक से भगवा है। मैं कहता हूँ लेफ्ट राइट सेंटर कोई भी बंदा भेजो, क्वालिफाइड तो होना चाहिए बाबा, इक्विप्ड तो होना चाहिए।
Because Vinod Khanna was FTII chairman, there was no opposition to him, but the fact remains that somebody like Prahlad Nilani, there's been opposition from to him from within the community and also the censor board itself. So these appointments are ultimately political.
It's very sad to politicize things like this, but we can only ask our elected representatives to think about the people they choose for our cultural institutions. At the end of the day, unfortunately, any institution to do with film is treated with the least respect, as if it's just not important, and the films are looked at as commerce and not as art from the beginning. We are not treated as an art form. We are with the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and not the Ministry of Culture. That says a lot. In every other country, film is with the cultural ministry, and it's a very important tool of culture.